Okay, so it's weird sometimes, right? Things drop on Disney Plus and you have no clue, right? You have no clue it's there. And even in the new 2 section, it's not necessarily in the order, right? You'll have things that came out earlier, but there'll be, yeah, it's just weird. Makes no sense. But I stumbled upon The Shepherd, right? This is the new film written and directed by Iain Softley. It's produced by Alfonso Cuarón, Richard Jones, Bill Kentworth, Gabriela Rodriguez. It's executive produced by Naomi George, David Gilbury, Lila Rawlings, and John Travolta. It's associate produced by Alice Scandarari Burr, co-executive produced by Anson Downs, Linda Favila. It is line produced by Marie Dong and artistic produced by Jeremy Meadow. Anne Chemlewski handles the music, John Matheson cinematography, Gareth C. Scales edits the piece, while Elaine Granger was on casting duties. John Beard, production design, Sarah Cheeky Neighbor. I mean, that's the name, right? Cheeky Neighbor. Someone tell you to piss. Be like, oh, who's handling set decoration? Oh, it's Cheeky Neighbor. I mean, like, shut up, Steve. Who's handling set decorations? Anyway, Sarah Cheeky Neighbor handles set decorations. Howard Burden, costume design. Hair and makeup, we've got Jenny Watson, Denise Stoker, Lucy Pachette, Andrea Maffei, Gabrielle Mason, Fiona Lobo Cranston, Nabil Hussan, Renata Gilbert, Chloe Dixon, and Diana Degan. And our cast, Freddie is played by Ben Radcliffe. His mum is played by Claire Price. His sister Sally is played by Scarlett Grace. His girlfriend Lizzie, played by Millie Kent. We have got Jim, played by Olatunji Afo. The SSO, played by Simon Wilson. Jack, played by Simon Lennon. There's Dashwood, played by Ian Bond. Jonathan Kavanagh, played by John Travolta. F.L. Joe Marks, played by Stephen McIntosh. Then we've got the Jeep driver, played by Asan Naji. The passenger in that Jeep, played by Jack Donahue. The RAF serviceman, played by Lucas Slade, and the naval commander, played by Mario Torella. So the gist is this. On Christmas Eve, a young RAF pilot flying home across the North Sea finds himself in peril when his radio and electric power cut out, leaving him stranded and running on limited fuel. Just when it appears his luck is about to run out, a mysterious Good Samaritan appears through the fog. Now, this is actually, right, it's an adaptation of a Frederick Forsyth novel from 1975. You know, it was the same name, right? So, yeah, this is a story supposedly read every Christmas Eve on Canadian radio, too, you know? So, it's a popular story, too. this is the first time I've ever come across it, right? But you can see why, right? With the story, the message, everything like that. Look, why people would like it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, it's after the war, right? Because this is set in 57, um, which is fine. I think the sentiment of the piece comes across, right? You can feel what they're doing, which is nice, and all of that kind of jazz. I think it doesn't necessarily capture the emotion, right? I think aesthetically, it felt a little too new, right? Everyone's uniform and everything was just too perfect. Where you're thinking, now, listen, I'm not saying that they should be in dirty uniforms or anything like that, but a level of lived inness, right? You're wearing this all the time, right? So it shouldn't look brand new, you know? Nothing should look sparkly and all of that kind of thing, right? It's 1957, people. You know, teeth can't be perfect, like none of that jazz. You know what I mean? And that's the thing, it just looked a bit too nice, a bit too precise, you know? And it's 1957, right? Now, the army, it's messy now, right? And we know then, like during the war, it was, there was a lot of segregation in the army, right? Black only regiments, Indian only regiment, like, you know what I mean? That's why the Gurkhas, they weren't in. It wasn't integrated. Women, there were women involved in the art, but you know, there weren't an abundance of. So it is very odd sometimes seeing these things, and they're making it like everyone's a happy family, you know. I'm like, you can have people there, but show it like it would have been. Were people getting kind of ostracized, a bit looked down on? You know what I mean? It wasn't all just like, hey, you're my buddy. No, 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 no. We know it's not all of that. So yeah, it's a little jarring sometimes seeing these things, and they make it look like everything's hunky dory, right? When we know it's not. You know what I mean? So you have all of that, but it's just for me, it was just in when he's in the plane, right? The There felt like there was a lack of urgency, right? And I'm not, hey, these motherfuckers are professionals, right? Even though homie has only got his night license, but he would have been flying during the day on the reg, right? It's not his first time in a plane, so I don't feel that you're gonna be frantic. But when you basically, you know, you're basically under the impression that this is it, you are dead. There's gonna be something, right? A catch in your voice, a kind of a tone of defeat, desperation, just all of these, which isn't quite there. Just wasn't quite there, you know? Which I just thought, that would have been, fitting for this. Like, nothing is bad, right? I think everything works. works. Everything is solid, you know? Everything is solid. It's just ain't that emotional connection. That's the part I was just missing here. You know, the story, I can believe the Travolta stuff, but it's the other bit that seems a bit like, okay, that would make no sense. Would have made more sense for him to make his way to the barracks on his own, you know? If that had happened and then he has the like that, you can pass that off. The rest of it, though, you're just like, oh, that doesn't necessarily make any sense. Like, that's a little bit weird. I can't remember if it's I think it's Joe, right? I think it's Joe Marks who he talks to. Now Joe is very good. I think there was more emotion in Joe. I think it's Joe, not Dashwood. But yeah, I think there was more emotion in Joe than anyone in this, which worked. But everything else was just, it was solid, right? It wasn't like, yeah, that blew me away. That was like, that hit me here. You know what I mean? We weren't getting those performances. But you know, it's a nice enough little short, right? I think again it kind of works for those looking for that sentimental Christmas piece. I think there will be plenty of people that enjoy it. You do wonder how much Travolta got for this. And again, not saying because he was terrible, but we just don't get much from that. Like, it could have been anyone in that role, essentially. You know, solid, but yeah, kind of workman-like. This was very workman-like, you know? But yeah, I don't know, people. It's on Disney Plus, so if you have that, give it a, you know, it's just 38 minutes. It's very short, you know? But yeah, I mean, if you like the novella, even, then possibly you want to give it a look. Again, as I said, if you like those little quaint Christmas stories, then I'm sure this could possibly work for you. Like, if you're a historian, don't. You know, there are plenty of errors. You know what I mean? When you're like, would that have happened? Do they do that like that? I don't know. But yes, The Shepherd. It's on Disney Plus, and yeah, you know, give it a whirl. You know, give it a flyby, a pass over. See if it works for you.